Reality. It's an ambiguous concept. It's an individual's perception of environment and situations with their five senses. What that means is how you perceive it is how it is. So when we come to terms with that, we realize we, in fact, create our reality.
We create our own reality. We decide who we are and what we're gonna be.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Leveled Up Podcast with me, Mike Adler. And as you can see, it's a little bit different today as we are on the move. I was on a little walk and decided I'm gonna just make the podcast now. So that's what's happening. Real quick, for those of you who don't know, I am a licensed life insurance agent, and one of the company that I work with is called Global Financial Impact, and they do a lot of training, which is great, like training to help you become just a better all-around person, which is awesome. I love that part about it. And the training that I was just listening in on was about habits. And this is something that I talk about all the time, and so I thought it would be a great opportunity to discuss it once again, because it's so important, and it is kind of just a blanket term, but it is ultimately what determines your situation. And since this is the Leveled Up Podcast and we're all about leveling up our lives, that's your habits are going to be a big part, maybe possibly the biggest part. And so it's definitely worth the discussion. Even though it's something that I've brought up before, it's something that, we're going to oftentimes discuss things that have been said before, but that's because you need to drill these things into your head, and it's good to revisit things because a lot of times you're in a different place when you hear something for the second, third, fourth time, and sometimes it's just the perfect timing when you hear it this time and it clicks for you. So let's get into it. If you want, everyone wants something out of life, but once you figure out what it is that what in your life you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to build, you need to then figure out, like I always say, you need to become the person before you become the person. So figure out what it is that you're trying to do. You have these dreams and goals for your life, but then figure out what kind of person has these things. If it's material things, what kind of person possesses the things that you want? if it's achievements, what kind of person has achieved the things that you want to achieve? And then reverse engineer it. You know, this person who has achieved this lives this kind of lifestyle. They wake up at this time, they do these activities, they refrain from doing these activities, and sort of just break it down into the key components of what makes up the person that has achieved or has achieved what you want to achieve, or has the material success that you want. And then once you do that, it's a matter of starting to do those things yourself. And obviously that's the harder part. Sorry, like I said, this episode's gonna be a little different. There's gonna be noise, and my God, my arm is hurting holding it with the one arm. I need to give it a rest for a second. But so what was I saying? You need to start doing the things that those people that you're trying to emulate do. And ultimately, you need to turn them into habits. They need to become habits. And habits are formed by doing things over time, repetitively, until you don't have to think about it. It's just something that you do. Like for me, I've made going to the gym a habit. I don't have to consciously force myself to go. I mean, sometimes it's harder than others because I do go at 3 a.m, so sometimes it's like harder to get up and get moving. But honestly, really, even when it's hard, it's still like I don't have to have that battle with myself. Will I go around? Like I know I'm just gonna do it because it's a habit. So making something a habit can be a little challenging in the beginning because a lot of times it's so out of the norm, what you're used to. So you have to overcome the discomfort. But as we know, all good things in our life, all like good achievements require you to overcome discomfort. It become uncomfortable. If you live a comfortable life, chances are you're not achieving greatness. Greatness comes from discomfort and overcoming it over and over and over until it's a habit. You need to be comfortable with discomfort, I like to say, because that's where the magic happens, is overcoming that which you do not necessarily want to do. But so getting back on track, start with figuring out what it is you even want in this life. A lot of people are stuck there, but it's important to have goals and things to strive for, because that, I like to say, it's like a roadmap. Having your goals is like a roadmap in the sense that it keeps you on track because you have a track. It functions as a track because you know if you're trying to achieve this goal, that these certain behaviors either work you closer to it or farther away. So it keeps you on track, and it gives you a roadmap, because you know that this is not going to get you closer to what you're trying to do. So having those, especially having those written out so that you can like review them and read them regularly, because that makes it tangible. When you write something down, it brings it from a thought, from an abstract idea, to some form of tangible, real thing. It brings it into the realm of physical existence. I don't think this road goes through. I'm gonna turn around. Hang on. Oh god, my arm. See, I don't know if you're able to, I don't know if it's too zoomed in on my face when I'm holding it right here, but whatever. But yeah, having that roadmap of goals is going to help you to figure out what you need to do to achieve those goals. And then, like I said, you figure out what it is that the type of person you need to become to get those things, and then begin working on becoming that person. And one thing I will say about habits, your habits, you can't, or I shouldn't say you can't, but it's very difficult to change everything all at once. A lot of times it's like, wow, I need to make a lot of changes in my life. And then you try changing everything. And sometimes you're able to do that for a little while, but ultimately it's not sustainable, and it falls apart because it's too much, like, it's too different from what you're used to keep up with. Because a lot of times, like, or sometimes we have to make kind of big changes in our lives, and that's why I need to prioritize your habits that you need to change, because if it's something big, it's going to be a lot harder to change and instill the new habit. So if you're trying to do that, and then also trying to do, like, eat better, quit smoking, just a laundry list of changes, it's going to be very difficult to do. And in the process, you're going to bail on the most important thing. Because if you maybe get this one habit in place, you may see more results from that one habit than if you were to change 5 other not so big or important habits. And I'm just pulling out numbers, but you get what I'm saying. One thing, you may need to change one thing to yield the results, far more results than had you changed 5 other things. So that's what I'm saying. Prioritize. Really do some internal reflection and think about what it is that if you start to implement, or new habit that you start to get in your life, bring in your life, like, what's going to bring you the best and most results. And then start there. And once you start, getting that worked out and becoming a habit, then you can start to bring in something else. But doing it all at once, it's hard. It's just not sustainable. And sustainability is the name of the game, because a lot of times, most times, great things take time. So if you're trying to do something great, which I'm sure you are, because otherwise, why are you watching the Leveled Up podcast? But great things take time. So that means you need to be able to live these habits for an extended period of time. We need to, and probably for life. These are changes, these are habits that we need to make and live with for the rest of our lives. So if you're trying to just change everything all at once, it's gonna be very difficult to do that forever. The goal is ultimately, to do make all the changes, have all the good habits, but you do it over time and do a little bit at a time so that you don't fall back to square one and have to keep starting over. Because the other thing is, once you instill this new good habit, you're going to become a better person. With each thing that you do, you'll become a little bit better. And so then when you start the new thing, when you try, getting the new habit on top of the one that you've already done, you're going to be better. So it's not going to be as hard for you because you've already done it with this first thing or these first couple things. So that's another thing to consider, is do a little bit at a time, because you're going to get better with each habit that you start working on. So ultimately, your habits are who make you into whatever it is you're trying to be ultimately. And one thing, I don't know if you know who Wes Watson is, and love him or hate him, whatever, he has achieved some great things. He's very successful. Especially financially, he can buy anything he wants for himself. He has whatever he wants, lives where he wants, and all those things, which obviously that's not everything, but those are some big things that a lot of people do want. But he even says all this money doesn't mean shit. What makes him feel fulfilled and ultimately successful is the fact that he maintains the habits. He has those habits in place that have made him into the man that he is today. And that's what got him to where he is. So I bring that up just to say that even people think you get the money and that's what makes you happy, but everyone who's got it will say it doesn't, and you need to have something else, something bigger, and that's where your habits are. If you can feel good about yourself because you're waking up early, you're putting in the work regularly, you're spending the time with your family, you're, doing all of, you have good habits. You can feel good about it. You can go to sleep knowing that you did that. You put in that work. You are the person who, and this is another Wes Watson quote. He says, become the person that you would admire. And I love that, because that is what we should all strive for. The other part of that quote is, and then give that to the world, which is just, I just love it. But that is what we should all strive to do, is become the person that we admire. Because, I mean, if you don't even like yourself, if you wouldn't even listen to you, then why do you think anyone else would? So be someone who you would look up to. Be someone who you would look up to, and then teach other people how to do that. But it all is it's gonna come from your habits. You're gonna you become that better person by getting better habits. And you have to start somewhere. So identify what it is that's going to be the most important on your journey, because it is going to be slightly different for everyone. There are habits that are kind of universal, because all humans are the same sort of biological creature. So things like your fitness, your nutrition, those habits are going to be across the board. Like, we all need those, but it might just be slightly different based on what your goal is, like what you do in the gym or what you do eat. But those are ones that go for everyone. So if that's something that you need to work on, start there. Get your diet and get your fitness dialed in. Get those habits in place. And then start from there. Branch out from there. But you have to start somewhere. We all have to just start. Otherwise, because humans are habitual creatures, but the problem is most of our habits are shit. So if you don't do anything, you're just going to keep living out these shitty habits and getting the same results that you're getting. And if that's not what you want, then it's important to take action and start working on getting the habits in place that are gonna get you the results that you want. If you want help with this, I help people dial in their fitness, their mindset, and ultimately knock out those goals that you're after. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out. I do have my Get Fit Blueprint if you're interested in getting the body that you desire to have. That program will help you do that. So if you're interested in that, reach out. And then also, as I mentioned, I do have I'm a life insurance agent. So if you do not have, if your family is not protected, if you're not protected with a life insurance policy, reach out. But more importantly, this company that I'm working with, the opportunity to make an impact in people's lives is immense, and the pay is also amazing. So if you are interested in, a remote opportunity and something that you can make an impact and, make a great income, that's another thing that I can help you with. So I'm blessed to be able to offer these opportunities. It makes me happy to be able to help other people better their lives. And that's what this podcast is all about, and that's what I'm all about. So if any of those things interest you, reach out. You can email me at therealmikeadler@gmail.com. You can DM me on Instagram at therealmikeadler. Just get a hold of me. Let's talk and let's level up together. It's a never-ending process, staircase that doesn't end. So you got to keep leveling up. As always, thank you for tuning in. I know this episode's a little bit different. Hopefully it's not too distracting, but thank you for tuning in. Please share this out with your audience, and until next time, work on dialing in those good habits that are going to get you somewhere that you want to be. See you next time. Peace.
We create our own reality. We decide who we are and what we're gonna be. We create our own reality. We decide.